Money is already a source of anxiety on a regular day. What more during a situation like this? So here are the different type of scenarios that you could be in and what you can do about money uncertainty. Hey guys, it's Sudhir here and welcome back to Your Money Game. So first of all, sorry about the mess. My older mic broke down, so I've got to make do with this for the time being. As a former sole proprietor back in KL, I used to face a lot of uncertainty as well. On a regular day, I could only see up to 2 months ahead in time. And that was really a source of a lot of worry for me. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the strategies that I use to manage my own emotions, but at the same time walk you through 3 of the different type of profiles of people who could be affected during this time. So the first group are those of you who are in currently a stable position, your money is secure, but you're just worried about what could happen in the near future. So if you're not directly at risk, that could be the best case scenario at this point. Because now you have 2 main things working on your side. You have time and you have options. So here's a list of things that you can do, but it doesn't mean you need to do all of them. So the first thing you can do is really double check on your monthly budget. If you are not already aware about how much you spend on a regular basis, this is a great time to do it. Double check it, make sure that you've got all the numbers correct, and then begin to consider how would you allocate more towards that emergency fund. If you have started one already, it might be worthwhile to beef it up. If you don't, it's really a great time to start building it. Having an extra buffer of money really helps to kind of calm that nerves. The next thing you can do with your budget is actually try and use what you call a phantom budget or a fake budget. So what you can do is artificially reduce that budget and then live within a lower limit. And by doing that, you're adding in a little extra buffer just in case. The next step is to pretend as if that you're a multinational corporation. So what they tend to do is during times of crisis, they have a crisis plan or an emergency plan. Why those things make a lot of sense is that they don't want to end up in a situation where they're panicking during the actual crisis. So touch wood, should anything happen, you have a go-to plan with a step-by-step process of what you need to do. Some of the things that you can consider putting in that crisis plan of yours is first of all related to that budget. So being very clear about what is it you can afford to cut, that's a really good one. The next thing is really knowing your rights. So if you've unfortunately been fired, it's really useful to know exactly what are those employee rights that you have. So going to a website like the Ministry of Manpower, understanding what's legally your right is really important as well. The last thing you can do is have that list of people who you can reach out to help you during a time of crisis. The next thing you can do is really review your insurance needs. So now, I'm not an insurance expert, but what I personally went through last time was when I was employed, I used to have medical insurance provided by my employer. But when I went out and became a sole proprietor, I didn't have any more medical coverage. So if you're an employee already enjoying some level of medical coverage, it might be worthwhile for you to explore what are the different options out there. So right now it might be difficult to move around because of a movement control order or some level of restriction, but it might be a great time for you to perhaps go on LinkedIn, reconnect with some of your old colleagues. But I think a useful mindset to have during this period is not just about, hey, what am I going to get out of it? But really thinking about how else can I add value and how can I support others. Who knows, there might be an opportunity in the future that might come up because you've helped other people and then they see the value in you and you're kind of putting yourself out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click on that bell button because each of those little things help my videos reach more people. The next group of people are those of you who might be mildly or somewhat affected by this COVID situation. So if you're already seeing a slowdown at this point, during this period, it's a time to reflect on the wants that you have and making serious cuts in where you think it's necessary. And from whatever you cut, take that and place it within that emergency fund. So the next thing you can do is enforce a live lean day. So you could tell yourself that maybe next weekend, I'm not going to stick to my usual routine. I'm going to live a little leaner. Maybe I'm going to eat food that's simpler. I'm not going to go out. Or if I need to buy certain stuff, I'm going to downgrade it intentionally. The next thing you can do is a little bit more extreme. So I used to have very aggressive savings goals, and the rationale in my head at the point in time was that if I'm having reduced income at this period, I have to make it up from somewhere. So I take it from the future. So my personal example was I was going to go on a holiday and stay in a nicer place, but what I did was that I reduced the amount that I was going to spend for my accommodation and took that to plug the hole. So that might seem crazy to some of you, like sacrificing some of that happiness in your future. But for me, I thought it was worth it because I didn't really get that much value out of accommodation, and it was something that I was willing to kind of like downgrade to again keep to the goals that I had. So the last group are those of you who are directly impacted by COVID and are seeing a significant drop in your income, or you're anticipating there'll be a round of retrenchments happening in your company. Now, I've been in that situation where I've lost contracts and I've been rejected, and it's very easy at that point in time to start spiraling downward, to start thinking that, hey, am I not good enough? What's wrong with me? Is it my fault? And it adds an extra layer of emotional stress on top of the financial stress that you're feeling. So the first tip I have for you guys is really self-care. If you're in that position where you need to go out, connect with others, and try and add value, having a overall negative mindset or a negative sense of being is not going to help. Accept that you're feeling all these emotions and then express it. So I'm not talking about like ranting on social media, but what worked for me is writing it all down in Evernote. In some cases where you've got a good friend, you've got a partner, you can express yourself to them. And once you've acknowledged that you're feeling it and it's okay, you can begin to try and shift your focus towards the future and what you need to do instead. So once you've decided to take action and move forward, think about what are the different kinds of support that's available to you. So in my previous video, I already talked about the different kind of government initiatives. But on top of that, you're seeing a lot of community effort rising to help each other out in these difficult times. So if you're from the creative industry like I am, I'm going to provide a link down below, but that's just one example of a kind of support group that's available out there. Banks are also stepping in to do their part, whether it's a home loan, whether it's a student loan. Banks are kind of helping you defer some of these charges. For those of you who are renting, there might not be some of these programs available, but what you can do is maybe reach out to your landlord and have a small negotiation. Provide them with a strong rationale of what has happened to you in terms of your cut of income and so on, but at the same time, put down a proposal. What do you suggest to the landlord? Because the landlord himself is in a position where he might be paying a mortgage. The next natural thing to do is to think about what are the ways that you can make money fast. Right now, one of those jobs that are relatively low barrier is to think about being a rider or a driver for those delivery services. Thanks to restricted movement, work from home, there's an increased demand of all these delivery services. The next thing you can do is to look for part-time work that doesn't have a very high bar of entry. So a lot of part-time jobs are posted on websites like Indeed, JobStreet, Freelancer. When you go in there, you'll be able to see the different kind of requirements they have. But there are quite a few roles out there that are easy to start and don't have a very high level of requirements. If you're not in urgent need of cash and are kind of looking a little bit forward as well, you can consider options like trying to build your own small business. There are sites like Fiverr where you can build your own profile to kind of offer services to the world. But usually it takes a little bit of time and traction before you start to see the results. So no matter where you're watching this from and where you are with money, I hope some of these tips help you in managing that uncertainty. I'm here with you on your journey, so I'll be back next Sunday. So till then, if you've gotten any value out of my videos, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And till then, keep playing your own game.